Hi, this is Mary Jane Goodman from Hayes Sewing in Wilmington, Delaware, and welcome to our creative video series. Today we are going to be using fabric panels to make a puzzle. So what you're going to need for this project are 2 panels. You can also use a panel with a piece of yardage for the backing, but for my example I'm going to use 2 panels, a cat and a dog. You're going to need some fusible fleece, meaning it has glue on one side. It's almost like a crafter's fleece that you would use in like a purse or a table runner. You're going to need some 505 spray, some fray check, some pins, a rotary cutter, a 6 by 24 inch ruler I find is the most helpful for this project, and a rotary mat to cut on.
Okay.
So to begin, you take both of your panels and give them a really good press. Before I do anything, I press both my panels. Typically, when you get a quilting fabric panel, they are approximately 23 to 24 inches, and then the width of fabric, which is 44. So they should fit somewhat nicely on top of each other. So I take them over to my iron. I press them all out. Then I cut 3/4 of a yard of the fusible fleece.
Just one layer or 2?
Just one layer.
One layer.
And I attach it to one of the panels. So I've ironed it, and now I'm going to iron my fleece on. The fleece might take a couple times to go over with the iron. When you are ironing fusible fleece on, a lot of times my ironing technique will be I glide and then I might sit a minute, and then I glide and then I might sit a minute. Don't be afraid to do that. You are trying to activate the glue that is on the other side of the fleece. When I have that done, I take my panel with my fusible fleece, one layer, I spray it with a light mist of the 505 spray. Basically, I am making a quilt sandwich. And then I am going to put my freshly ironed panel on the other side. Once I have that done, I just trim up the edges. So I will take the selvage edges off, I'll trim down the sides until I have a very clean quilt sandwich.
Okay.
Now, because most panels are 23, 24 by 44, this 24 by 6 inch ruler works really well. I lay out, can you still see me?
Mm-hmm.
I lay out the panel, I put my ruler on one piece, and I cut through all 3 layers.
Okay.
So I end up having about, end up having about 7 strips.
Okay.
Accuracy does not need to be your friend here. If some are 6 1/4, that's fine. If some are 5 1/2, that's fine. You're making a puzzle. We're not going for exact squares. Once I have my strips cut, what do we call this? Lengthwise?
Horizontal?
Horizontal. Then I'm going to go this way. And again, I just hold my ruler. I'm using it to square it off. If some are 6 inches, great. If some are 5 and some, great. What I don't want is to end up when I get to the end of this row with like a little bit left.
Got it.
So sometimes I will just flip it over.
Got it.
Now that I have my individual blocks, I do put a pin in the middle of each one. Between the 505 spray and the fusible fleece, they are staying together, but because I'm running them through a serger and I tend to go at top speed, I do like to pin them just to keep track of everybody. So I'll pin all my pieces. So you can see from the two panels together how many pieces I have subcut. So I have quite a stack of pieces here. Dogs and cats. What I like to do is use a serger for this project because it finishes the edges nicely. I would imagine that you could do an overcasting stitch on your sewing machine. But for this purpose, I am going to show you on the serger. I like to try to use the smallest stitch width possible. I also am not concerned about having a tight stitch. My only goal here is to keep the pieces together. So, with that in mind, I am going to have it on a stitch width of 3.0 and a length of 2.
Okay.
Does that sound good? All right. And I do have my cutter on. Even though I'm not going to cut a ton off, I do keep my cutter on because I find in using the serger you get a better stitch if you keep the cutter on. And then away we go. Whoops, turn my serger on. Now as you can see, I'm feeding it through. I've used a light thread color because I don't want it to kind of take away. So I'm using I think it's an eggshell. And I kind of have like a bigger stitch. And you do all 4 sides. So there you go. Very simple, very easy. I will probably, when I do all of these, I will do more of a chain. I will just keep sewing through all one side, clip them, go to the other side. When I'm done, I will trim close to the edge.
Get all the chain, what we call the chain off.
Right, get the chain off. And then I take a little fray check and I put a little dot of fray check on each corner. And to my mind, that is a good thing to do while I am watching TV. Right now, the Phillies. So I get a little fray check on my corners and I'm done. I may, when I'm done, run the iron over it again. Not really important, but
there you go.
So now I'm going to take you over here and give you an idea of a finished one. So this is something that I would give as a gift to either my littler nieces and nephews. It is double-sided. So you have a puzzle on one side and a puzzle on the other. And what I did was, because when we... Stop it, Pam. Because when we sell our panels, we put a little picture on the front. I just cut out the pictures and I laminated them.
When she first showed me, why I'm laughing is when she first showed me how to do this, she goes, put it together. I'm like, don't I get a picture?
And also, when I first put it together, I couldn't get this one together. So that's why Sunshine Play All Day is the one that I choose to use.
Yes.
So this is what it looks like. I also just made a very simple little bag
Cute.
that you can stack them up and put them in. So you can transfer them places.
And they're quiet.
They're quiet and washable.
And washable.
Some of my favorite things in kids' toys. Another example I wanted to show you was we had a panel that we did, that we finished as a sample, and it's all quilted. If I needed a quick and easy baby gift, and perhaps the kids were done with using this as a play mat, even though it has the colors on the other side, I would absolutely slice and dice this and make it into a panel puzzle.
Yeah.
So that is the simple, easy way to make a panel puzzle. Have fun!